Okay, hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. Welcome back to the channel. And we are happy to have you along today. We have just completed two builds. We completed the USS Defiant 1/1000 scale from Polar Lights and the Razor Crest from Bandai, the little tiny 3 or 4 inch long model. That one's pretty tiny. Here's actually there it is. Very simple to do, snap together kit, stickers instead of slide decals, and then some panel line wash, and that's about all I really did with that, but still fun to do. But we are setting off on another adventure here at the Sloppy Modeler, and this one is going to be more of a challenge. You can see we've got the Deep Space Nine Defiant, and you're thinking, well, you just did one. Yeah, I did, but this is the 1/420 scale Defiant, and it's a much larger model, but it has some significant challenges compared to the wonderful kit that is the Polar Lights 1/1000 scale kit. The first and foremost is the fit of this is atrocious from all of the videos I've seen out there. I'm preparing myself for the gaps and the warps and everything else that go with that to get it sealed up, even to eliminate the light leaks. And then secondarily is the raised panel lines. This has the impression that this has recessed panel lines, and it does not. This is quite simply a raised panel line kit from the 90s. So with that in mind, I did go ahead and purchase a couple of aftermarket pieces for this. The green strawberry fruit pack from USS Defiant. This has the hangers, the engines, and the exterior both. It's about a $95 kit, so that is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely for like the engines, the Bassard collectors, the tops of the engines, top of the these engines right here, definitely makes it a challenge. The other piece of aftermarket I got is the HDA Model Works replacement decal guide for the 1/420 scale. And this shows you your scale for that. The decals actually look pretty nice as I opened them up and already went through them, but I do like the way he did top port, top starboard, top center, top port nacelle, top starboard nacelle, and then same thing here, and then you've got bottom port nacelle, bottom starboard nacelle, bottom port, bottom starboard, bottom center. So he did try to lay this out pretty nice. I'm looking forward to doing those decals, so that should be a lot of fun when we get to the decal side. Couldn't resist, I found this on eBay. This is the Antares Fleet Yards, the Defiant development, and it says assimilate this, and it's got a Defiant with teeth. I just thought a nice job there. It's a patch, embroidered patch, but I think I can do something on the base with that is going to be a lot of fun. So I figure, why not? We'll make that happen. As far as for the kit itself, I have already spent the time, and I have already prepared the resin parts for this kit with lots of sanding and cutting away. You can see here all of this stuff needed to be, anything in red here essentially need to be removed and then sanded. And so this is the hanger kit. It does have some decals and photo etch to go with it. That hanger kit, the photo etch is right here, and the decals are right there. So I'm kind of getting excited about doing that. That should be a lot of fun. So that is that section. I do have my little 5-volt SD card player. This is kind of cool. It's got previous, play, pause, next, volume up, volume down, and then repeat. and it's got a mono block out, and it can be powered a couple of different ways. It can be powered here with a 5-volt, or you can run power directly to it. So I do have that for the sound, and we'll put some speakers with that in the bass and have a little bit of fun with that piece of it. So that is that. The kit also has, and this is really the nice piece of it, these are the resin pieces for like the Bassard collectors, the front deflector dish. Here's the warp engines. Here are the impulse engines and some of the other pieces. So that is, and then also, ow! Sorry about that. And so that is also the photo etch that goes with that. Scalpels are sharp. Play nice, folks, with them. Okay, I also ordered the registration decals. These are much nicer than the ones that come with this really old kit. I think they're very similar, but essentially you've got the Defiant, and then here's the old decals. I think that was well worth doing, and we'll come back to that piece. So those are the decals and the instructions. Plastic bag, and then as I mentioned, here's all of my resin parts. They've all been washed, they've all been sanded for the most part. What I'm going to do with them, essentially, we'll do some more work with those. Here's the other set of resin parts. We've got work to do with those. The base is right there, which is actually pretty cool, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but we'll take a look at it as we move ahead. Here are the Bassard collector pieces that go into this. Here's the rear, here's the bottom piece of the front torpedo bay. And this goes together differently than what the 11000 does. Here are your solid pieces for before your warp engines. And one of the keys there to look at is that you'll have to, I'm going to remove this patterning right in there. I'll have to file that out, drill it out and file it away, and then put the photo etch kit behind it. I'm not going to use this part. Probably will use that bridge, and then that's the bottom. So that is another piece of the kit. And then the granddaddy here, this is the, as I mentioned, it's nice plastic, but again, it's all raised panel lines, which is going to make taping and painting this quite the pain in the neck. And as I mentioned, the fit on this is really challenging as we get to it. But it's a pretty good size. There's 2 hands, so it's a pretty good size ship right there. So that is the bottom, and the top has all one piece from the nose all the way to the tail. It's got some flash on it, and this is where these 2 areas here, those 2 areas on the starboard side, our port side rather, that is where it gets really ugly as far as the fit and finish of this. It's going to be quite the challenge. I've got to remove these pieces here and put in the red piece, and then there's photo etch and resin pieces to go over that. So it's an endeavor. Of course, we're going to light it, and we will see. I think I'm going to use an Arduino Nano to give me firing pulse cannons to light up the blinkies for the anti-collision lights. And I don't think I have to light up the station keeping navs because they're solid, and I'm going to do those as solid. But there are 2 nav lights back here, 1 there, and 1 on the bottom as far as blinks go. So that is something to work with. So that is the USS Defiant in 1/420 scale. I will say this, this is really pretty artwork on this. Really nice artwork on that. And if I can get even close to this representation, I will be very happy as we go into this program. All right, let me go to work on this, and when we come back, we'll have a bit of an update. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the USS Defiant 1/420 scale. And sorry for the noise, but we are in the process of creating our holes for the chiller grills here, I'm going to call them. They would be the equivalent of chiller grills. These are the green strawberry chiller grill individual pieces, and what you have here is this, with the hole that I've drilled, that will actually fit right into there, and that looks pretty nice. I do a little bit of filing yet, but for the most part I like the way that that looks. It's deeper per se. It's deeper than what that is. This is flush, this is recessed, but the only way to get there would be to drill a hole that big, and I'm just not going to do that. I think it's too large. But if you look at that, that is going to look dynamite, I think, even with that recess like that. I think we're okay. Also, we have the royal we, shall we say, made a lot of other progress on some of these other pieces. For instance, working with the impulse engines crystals, we have got this. Now these actually do recess all the way into its those actually do recess all the way into that portion right there. And again, same thing, they're going to light up crazy by the time I get glue around that and a little bit of other piece of putty. I think that'll look fantastic. So to drill that out, what I've been using is my variable depth and size drill. And I started by using a little tiny drill and coming from the top down through to give me a pilot hole. And the pilot hole then allows me to center this. And definitely going pretty slowly. What you're left with is this circle still here, and so the trick that I found with this drill is to go just a little bit deeper, and that leaves me with something like that. And then I've been taking my Stanley knife on the inside and just carving that away. All in the purpose of hopefully having this fit as dead on as possible, right? I want to make sure we do this into camera. And then my circular file. Sorry about the file noise. And then hopefully, we're not quite there. You know what? I think I'm going to give this just a little more clean there. See if that got it done. That's got it. Yep. So, and like the nice thing is that this will give you like a little lip to glue right to. Those don't fall out now, and you can run a bead of super glue or even canopy glue to hold that And when you get all 4 of those in there, I think that's going to be just really kind of amazing. So that is drilling out for the chiller grills. And I've got to do the other side here. Those are done, and you know, that's a matter of taking your drilling through there, and off we go. I also have drilled through and created the parts for the Bussard collectors. And see how this fits in, something like that. And we're going to talk about these Bussard collectors a little bit later, but for the most part, they fit in something like that. I don't think that's quite right, but you get the idea. And then that resin part fits right over like so. And then from the back, you've got the Bussard collectors are going to really be nice. I'm going to have to diffuse that a little bit. But part that comes with the green strawberry kit is this resin piece here. This resin piece here, and this resin, there we go. It's kind of what you want. There's a lip all the way around that you want to work with. I got to sand that a little more. So once that's in, you can then glue that lip down to the front of this. I've also cut off the nib here that was for the cannon, and I'll glue the other resin piece to that. I also started with 800 grit and then sanded up through 7000 grit and then polished it with a little bit of polish. It's not totally smooth, crystal smooth, but I'm really much more pleased with the way that has turned out. So we are making good progress on that piece. So those 2 are done, the 2 Impulse Bussard collectors. Then we've got this piece here, which is one of the, I have to do a little more filing on that, but I like what I've got so far. Here's one that needs to be filed some more yet, but this piece here definitely, and I want to be careful here, you can see that photo etch is going to look really nice behind there. And I think I'm just going to paint that photo etch black and be done with it. I think that's going to look absolutely awesome with that, but that's been quite the drilling. So we've been drilling and filing and filing and drilling. You can see we've got all of the plastic nubs all over the place. But for the most part here on this, I've got this half moon file, and that works really pretty nice for bringing these into shape in a hurry. This file's got a lot of use, but you can see just that quick how we came into shape. And then using that corner, you can come right into an edge and just round that up so nicely. Gives you a little bit of radius left, and it looks much more natural that way. Go back to your flat file for just bringing some of this stuff down, and then you'll want to file the back of this down too with the filings, but in essence you can run that right out there, back to your half moon, and I need to put a little more pressure, just throw it onto a table quickly. And one of the keys I learned from Adam Savage was that the tool does the work, but use for control, use the whole tool. Use those really long style strokes. It just seems to control it versus just you know, going at it like that, I think you get much more control, much more uniformity over the course of your filing. And just like that, we are probably 95% of the way there. And again, this is going to be raw, so this is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to see just painted. So you also will want to sand that. But from where I stand, this really, and then even run your knife around it one more time. And there you go. You can see the difference from what I started with to where I'm at. I got a little more work to do on that, but this is getting ready for the photo etch that'll go behind it. Now, the photo etch will actually, see if I can do this, fit and glue into the resin kit, again from Green Strawberry. This fits like so. That all lines up. There's a little trench here all the way around this. Little trench all the way around that fits into. And then you can hit this with the blue light and it's going to give you the blue glow on the inside of that. So that's kind of the end goal where we're at, or where we're going to. But that is just some test fitting to go along with this. So the other thing we have to do is cut out this section here for the Green Strawberry hanger bay. But that means that post hole goes away, so I have to figure out where I'm going to put that. And for right now, I'm thinking it's going to go behind it. It shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that's going to be cut out. And after that, we're pretty close to all of the modifications of the kit, getting this ready for lighting. So I have to cut these other four. I have to file that up. And the purpose of all this then is to get to a point where I can sweep all this up, clean it all up, and then go after the painting and some of the other stuff. So let me keep working on this, and when I come back, we will definitely have these in, holes in, ready to go. Probably going to cut the holes for the lights while we're at it, and then we'll file the rest of this up. So I'll be back with you shortly. Thanks. Alright, hey, welcome back to the USS Defiant, the 1/420 scale from AMT. Again, just a quick overview. This is what we're working on. Large size box because of the large size of the unit. I will say this, they did a nice job. Got some nice photos here on the sides of this box, and you know, those are some nice reference photos. If you want to take it, this is quite weathered. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, let's talk about the progress we've made so far. It looks like it's we're all together and we're ready to go. Couldn't be further from the truth, but let's talk about a few things. This is just a mock-up, just taped together at the moment for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to see where, what size this thing is, and it's really I mean, this is a huge model. I don't know, probably 22, 16, 18 inches long, somewhere in there. So that is pretty nice. But we've gone with my little super 5/64. Nope, that's not the right size. Take a quick look here. 1/32 size drill, and with that we have drilled out for the two of the anti-collision triple blinks that are going to go there. We've drilled out two of the holes here for the solid white lights. I've drilled out one hole here for the anti-collision, so you have three anti-collisions on top. And then I've drilled a hole here to light up the registry of the USS Defiant. As we go ahead, we have got the holes drilled here. We've got the plastic removed for the impulse crystals, and we've got the plastic removed here. Just need some more filing for the chiller grills, and that is on top pretty much where we're at. On the bottom, we've got our hole drilled here for our bottom anti-collision light. We've got two of the holes drilled here for starboard and port station keeping lights, so you'll have a red and a green there respectively. We have also drilled out the holes, very tiny again, for our port side red lights that will go there, and for our starboard lights, which will be green, will go there. And those are not sure yet. I might make those flashing along with the flashing lights here on the bottom. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out these 6 holes in each of those and try to put a red light behind it, just to give some interest to the bottom of this, which will be fine. And then ultimately I'm going to move this. Our next step is to remove the plastic that's right there. All of that goes so that we can then do the hangar bay. So that means I'm going to move my base power, the tube that will go. I'm going to put that in there because this is really super solid. This is an extra piece, and then it's got another piece of plastic underneath it, which is kind of amazing when you consider it. I don't even know if I can pry this up at the moment. I'm not going to worry about that. But that's got a lot of extra plastic in it, so that you've got space there. You've got support, rather. So the next steps for some of this pre-drilling or drilling is I have to remove where I've marked out in black there. I have to remove those 2 sections for the hangar bays, and quite honestly I'm a little bit nervous to do that, but I'm gonna do it and get it done. If nothing all else fails, there is a piece of photo etch that just covers it if I screw it up completely. We will have to see how that goes along. The other thing that we'll be doing is we'll be laying in photo etch parts over the top of these holes here for the windows, and once those are in, then we can drill the windows for lighting at that point. So the other thing that I've done in preparation for this, I took just my little smallest drill bit here, and by hand, this is a 1/16 inch bit, and where all of the locating pins are, I just went in and turned this in a little bit, and I cannot tell you how much of a difference that made just trying to get this to pin up. And once I did that, it really started to fit quite nicely. There's some points where it doesn't, but we shall get there. Like right here, and I think that's because of this piece on the back, which is very ill-fitting. The other thing I did was go ahead and, if I can find these real quickly, yeah. I went ahead and opened up the impulse engine exhaust. The impulse engine exhaust gets this piece right here. It's a resin piece, and that actually gets a piece of photo etch over the back. But you can see here you've got these pieces here, and this will fit in just like that. A little bit of filler, and we are off and running on both sides. But that was quite a bit of work to do that. There'll be, at some point, there'll be a red light behind that. So, making progress there. Now, next steps, trying to work with all this stuff at the same time. This is the hangar bay. If I can get the directions for that. Out of the green strawberry resin kit. So basically what you had was this piece here, that piece. So number 12, number 5, number 9, number 8, and number 1, which I have not done anything with number 1 because that's a super delicate ladder. I don't even know if that's going to fly. But the first thing you do, what I wanted to do was paint this white, and that's a titanium white, and I'm really pleased finally with the coverage. That's over gray primer. And then what you do is apply these decals. So there's some large spots here, so what we'll do is we'll apply decals over these areas that you see on both this piece and that piece. That's kind of a next step. And then you can see here how this goes together. So this bottom section here, which I believe is this one, actually slots into this, and again, this resin stuff fits really, really nice. I have to give Green Strawberry credit. The castings on these are just absolutely awesome. It fits just like so, and then the next piece fits over the top of that, and that fits really super nice. And what you'll see is that's the inverse. That's what the hanger bay will look like as you're looking up into it. So you've got a shelf here for stuff. The decals will go in there, and then finally over the top or over the bottom of that will be something like so. And that fits in, and that is your hanger bay. Really hides a lot of the details, but there's a reason for that. So those have been painted white, and it's time to do the decals on those and the photo etch, and we'll get back to it. As I mentioned, this is the area where you're going to remove that plastic so that you can lay this in here from the bottom, and that should look really nice. So we are making progress on the hanger bay. So that is one section. Now, put this aside for a bit and talk about some of the other things. These are the aftermarket Green Strawberry cannons. And so what I did, first thing is I did, if you look at that product, grab the other sheet. These are the 4 pieces, number 10 and number 11, and they've got, you just have to work with them a little bit. But basically what I did is there's a piece that fits into the side of the hull. I took that off, drilled a small hole with my little tiny drill bit, drilled a hole in from this angle, and now that has a 0425 red LED in it. And I don't know if I can light that one up or not. I think I can. Just kind of show you what we're talking about. Right there, so that's really nice, and that's a 470 ohm resistor on there. But that's got really nice. It's got really nice color. It's got nice brightness, and when that's flashing, I think I will be really pleased with that. So, and again, that fits onto the side of the hull on the inside here, something like this. Go ahead and feed that through just to show you here real quick. And the way that fits is something just like that, and I'll be able to glue that on, and you will have your phase cannons that are ready to fire off right there. So that is one piece for the bottom section. I got 2 of those done, as you can see right here. There's the secondary one, and then this one here actually fits onto this part here where I've already shaved that off, and this is an angle here, and to make that straight you would simply put it on something like that. I have to drill the hole yet for that. Something like that, which makes that face cannon shoot straight ahead. You can see that there's an angle for it, and that is how that is going to go on. And that was much easier, you just drilled straight through, and again it's got the same 0425 drill on there. Now, additional pieces. This is for a SARD collector, and that would go in something like that once you're in there. Now, I have already painted 2 coats of primer and a coat of white for the inside of that. And I've done that for this, and I've done that for the warp core engines, and those will fit in the back like that. And now we come to the build order. So those have been painted and prepped. So the build order, well, let's go to one more thing and then we'll talk finally about the build order. The green strawberry photo etch parts are absolutely amazing, and the resin is even better. I'm super amazed with the resin here. So the way that this goes together, that fits something like so, and this fits something like this. So these resin parts have been painted black on the outside and gray on the inside. And then I've hand painted some stuff. And then I'm going to go put a coat of my blue inside of there, that iridescent blue, to cover the whole thing. And you can see that that's starting to pick up some of the light in there. And then you'll have a black mesh over the top of that, but hopefully that'll glow blue in there enough. And I think what I'm going to do is put cob lighting around the, use a cob light strip this way, and this way, and then that will fit in something like that. You can see where it's going to fit. That'll fit in there, which is then in turn placed over this, something like that, and then you'll have a hopefully a super color in there. So, very pleased with the way that that turned out. Like I said, I've already hand painted inside here for the colors. I just used titanium gold. I used copper, XF6, X31 on the titanium gold. For the stainless steel, I used my Mr. Color Super Metallic 2, Super Stainless 2. And for the gray in there, it is Ocean Gray 2 RAF XF82. And then finally, oh, I didn't use any dark copper. So those are the 4 colors that I used to do the detail painting in there. I'm really kind of pleased with the way it's turned out. Again, it's going to be behind mesh. I'm just hoping that the blue will shine off of that. And as I mentioned, I'm going to use my iridescent blue to cover the whole thing now, and see how that hopefully will give a bit of a sheen and a bit of blue in there to make that happen. Some copper, and I think you'll be able to see those details through the mesh when it's turned on, maybe even when it's turned off. So that's that. All right, so on the top is the color for the bottom of that is Folk Art Steel Gray, 2561 Steel Gray. That's the bottom one right here. And then the other item right there is the Enchanted Deco Art Enchanted Iridescent Top Coat Acrylic has been sprayed and applied. And I think you can see the difference. And it didn't dull my grays or my stainless steels or anything that too terribly. So we're going to spray these other here. We're going to spray these here, bottom 2, and I think that's going to give us an awesome blue shimmer underneath that. So we'll be back. Now, build order. So I'm going to untape this next after I get my final carvings done for the hangar bays, and I think, well, at least this is a plan, I'm going to build this upside down. Lights in the bottom of this are only going to be these two blinkies, and then if I put red lights behind these, I'm not decided on that yet, and then the lights for these on the bottom. And I can wire all that on the bottom section, but on the top section, if we just build it and wire it inside like this, then I can wire my my registry light. I can register my anti-collision light, the two orange lights that are going to go in these recesses here, these two lights here. I think I'm going to try and put one light here to light up the registry. That will probably be of minimal success, quite honestly. And then the lights here, and the lights for these, and the impulse exhaust lights, the lights for the warp core, and the lights for the Bussard collectors. All of that, I think, can be done working through working from this side here, rather than working on the bottom of the bottom section of the hull, and then trying to light all that from the other directions. Because I'm going to build some light boxes and things like that. With that in mind, I am going to add these pieces here, the warp core, which goes in like that, and then these pieces here, because the way that these fit is really, really ridiculous, really, really challenging. But I think what I'm going to do, if I add those pieces first into these areas, and then work on these seams before anything else happens, the only seam that's going to be really ugly will be this one here, this one here, this one here, and these four on the bottom. And I'd rather have them on the bottom where they're hard to see, and I'd rather have these on the top look really nice. That's the game plan as we move ahead. So lots of work already completed, and just just getting to build and getting to hand paint some of this stuff. But I am having a lot of fun with this particular kit, even though it's quite old and there are all of its weaknesses. We're going to try to make the most of it. But I think this will bring the introduction and the first section of build log to a conclusion. I appreciate your likes, your subscriptions, your shares, your comments, and we will be back with you with part 1 of the actual build log. This is just the introduction, and then we will go from there. But we've got quite a bit of body work to do yet on some of this stuff. I've got some filing to do on these. There's just some work to do, but I'll get there. And I think that this is going to make for a nice looking kit when we're all done. So until we see you again, appreciate you subscribing, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.